Well, it proved to be an eventful night here in Augsburg on a scouting mission, watching Bayern Munich ahead of their trip to Anfield in the Champions League next Tuesday. And Niko Kovac's side will arrive on Merseyside on the back of a win, having closed Borussia Dortmund's lead in the Bundesliga down to 2 points. Dortmund don't play until Monday evening, but it was far from convincing. And I think when Jurgen Klopp and his staff analyse this game, there'll be more I think they'll take encouragement from than be worried about as they prepare that game plan to face Bayern. Very suspect defensively tonight. Twice they fell behind against an Augsburg team that's battling against relegation, and they were missing some key personnel, Augsburg, tonight as well. They were hard working, but very, very limited. But they got in behind Bayern on a number of occasions, and it was far too easy for them to create opportunities. I think Kimmich, the Bayern right back, really good going forward. Created one of the goals for Kingsley Coman tonight, but defensively didn't seem that keen on tracking runners, and that cost them for 2 goals in the first half. Twice Bayern fell behind. The first one inside 15 seconds. A Goretzka own goal across into the box he didn't deal with, and the second one was a similar scenario with a ball in. Again, defenders not dealing with it, and G, the former Sunderland attacker, the South Korean, hammered past Manuel Neuer. I suppose if there was one good, big positive news for Bayern tonight, it was the fact that Manuel Neuer proved his fitness. Been out recently with a thumb injury, but he came through 90 minutes unscathed, so we certainly expect to see him at Anfield on Tuesday night. However, their big attacking threat tonight, he scored 2 goals, and he was also involved in the third goal, creating what proved to be the winner for David Alaba. Kingsley Coman limped off in the closing seconds, and he went over on his ankle. He's had ankle problems already this season. And you could see it wasn't good. There was Bayern had already used 3 subs. They were holding on at that point. It was a real nervy finale, but Kingsley Coman couldn't continue. He had to be helped down the tunnel by medical staff, and just seen him just now limping out of the stadium with his left ankle heavily strapped. Niko Kovac saying he hasn't been ruled out of that game against Liverpool yet, but I think it would have to take a pretty dramatic recovery for us to see him out there on Tuesday evening, especially considering he's had similar issues with that ankle already this season. Of course, not ideal for Bayern already without Thomas Müller, who came off the bench tonight. He's suspended for both legs against Liverpool, and Ian Robben, he's also not going to be back in time. So if Coman doesn't make it, then it may well be a start for Frank Ribery, who also had a bit part role tonight coming off the bench. So I think Bayern, probably their kind of all the talk about their demise this season has to be put in context, because they are resilient. They found a way to win tonight. I think they've now won 9 and drawn 1 of their last 11 Bundesliga games. So we're not talking about a team that's stuck in a rut, but they did look really, really vulnerable defensively, and even at 3-2 in that second half, they were never particularly in control of that game, and Augsburg could easily have stolen a point late on. Defenders making some pretty basic mistakes, and they were fortunate on this occasion that Augsburg weren't good enough to punish them. But it'll be a huge step up in class for Bayern on Tuesday night, and I think Mo Salah, Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino will be looking at that, looking at the mistakes Bayern's defenders made, and looking at the space in behind that back line, and thinking they can do some serious damage. And I think it's got the makings of 2 fantastic matches, because it won't be cagey, that's for sure. I don't think Bayern have got it in them to come to Anfield and shut up shop, and obviously Liverpool, with their centre-back problems at the moment, Bayern will probably fancy their chances of coming to Anfield and scoring. And Lewandowski was really quiet tonight, but you'd expect him to have a bigger role to play. And Gnabry, I thought he did pretty well, and he's part of that front 3 as well, and he's one that Liverpool are going to have to keep an eye on. James Rodriguez did very, very little tonight. It'd be interesting to see whether Kovac keeps with him, but I think the big thing tonight was, Liverpool will be looking at those mistakes Bayern made defensively. I think they've conceded 26 league goals already this season, only conceded 28 in the whole of last season. So I know Klopp recently laughed off, said it was very funny. He thought the idea that Liverpool were favourites for this tie, but certainly, there's nothing here tonight to unduly worry Liverpool. If they perform to the level that we know they can, then there's absolutely no reason why they can't see off this Bayern side and book their place in the quarter-finals of the Champions League.